didn't let that YNW Melly boy out of jail. That's one of the most dangerous goddamn rapping young it is. Man, that boy would have been worse than King Von and Pooh Shiesty combined.
I don't see how you could treat anybody like that.
The new lawsuit alleges he's being held in inhumane conditions.
New evidence revealing YNW Melly's motive to commit the crime was found during his bond hearing, resulting in the judge making a decision that will change Melly's life forever. Evidence so bad that even when Matthew Norman, who specializes in psychiatry for the last decade, told the judge Melly's living conditions are so bad, it's even worse than the fictional movie Castaway, and he didn't even care. In fact, nobody did, which is why an interview from Melly's mother was brought up, painting a disturbing picture of Melly's life in jail, literally making it sound like he won't last much longer.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
His living conditions are so bad, a viral reaction even read, "I understand the charges against Melly are really bad, but he's being treated inside a jail like he's been found guilty already. There hasn't even been a conviction, and they're treating him like he's on throw." Where Jamie King would reveal she's absolutely heartbroken for her son because he's not even being treated like a human.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
But still, none of this mattered due to the motive being found for YNW Melly to commit the crime. The craziest part is, a literal officer was even defending Melly, saying his jail situation needs to change. It reads, BSO officer admits that YNW Melly's cell has been searched every day during his 7-year detainment. No items or contraband have ever been found. Since 2019, the officer admits there has never been a single time that Melly had an altercation. The BSO officer admits that Melly hasn't spoken to any family members in 6 years. Even after this was shared in court, Melly's mother went on Instagram to share this.
And I know people didn't believe me when I was saying just how horrible they were treating him, but to hear it come out of that BSO officer's mouth, it really brought it home, and it hurt. Like, it really made me cry, because I don't see how you could treat anybody like that. It's innocent to proven guilty, but they are treating him worse than anybody I've ever heard of. The doctor even said he's never heard of someone being kept up underneath such seclusion and such harsh conditions. I just want him to be able to at least come home.
Even getting the attention of rap OG Boosie, who would speak on the stress that Jamie King has been going through. His own mom went through a similar situation.
Okay, so then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a...
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
But none of this seemed to matter due to what was found. It reads, and I quote, rapper YNW Melly was exposed during a YNW affiliate's interrogation with police, where he claims that YNW Sakchaser made YNW Melly perform acts towards him a week before his passing. Investigators believe this was YNW Melly's motive to commit the crime.
What motive would Melly have to kill his two friends?
They just piss him off? I don't know, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. Man, was on FaceTime, man. Like, y'all don't know, bro. Y'all don't know what Sat was doing to me. Y'all don't know what Sat was doing to me, bro. Like, saying it like Sat was some shit.
This is meaning that YNW Sakchaser was doing acts towards YNW Melly and or was making Melly do it to him, making him want revenge urgently, wanting it so bad it was even revealed by an ex-O-Block member YNW Melly was FaceTiming King Von for advice on how to deal with someone.
Did Von really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Von was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walk the bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
After hearing this, the judge would end up denying YNW Melly's bond request, reading, Broward County Judge Martin Feen has officially denied YNW Melly's latest motion for bond, ruling that he will remain in jail with no bond while awaiting retrial in his Double M case. He has now spent 7 years in jail without receiving a verdict, resulting in some people celebrating Melly being denied bond, such as Charleston White.
We got some breaking news. The Lord done answered my prayers this morning. And I'm finna tell y'all why. I was really praying and hoping that them folks in Broward County didn't let that YNW Melly boy out of jail. That's one of the most dangerous goddamn rapping young it is. Man, that boy would have been worse than King Von and Pooh Shiesty combined had they let that boy out of jail. That boy people from the inside of the car. All the come from the inside going out, and he want people to believe that all the from that side. None of the motherfucking forensic evidence showed that a bullet was fired from the outside of that goddamn car.
Being denied bond would result in Melly's lawyer Drew Finling writing an important statement on Melly's behalf, reading, the court, the state attorney's office, and all who observed the bond hearing should have been deeply troubled by the clear evidence presented regarding the inhumane conditions that Mr. Demmons has endured for the last 7 years, with the last 3 in solitary confinement. While presumed innocent under our Constitution, yet the court denied bond and allowed those conditions to continue without even acknowledging the shocking circumstances under which he has been forced to live in. The irony is, in the last few days, the nation saw a United States judge apologize to an individual accused of an attempted target of our leader for his days in solitary confinement, and not a word by this court regarding the 3 years. In the collective decades of experience shared by the defense team, we have never encountered such cruel treatment comparable to what Mr. Demmons has endured. Numerous colleagues across the legal community have likewise expressed disbelief and outrage at the conditions imposed in this case. Mr. Demmons remains innocent in the eyes of the law. The state failed to secure a conviction once, and we remain confident it will fail again. It now appears that only a jury's verdict compelling his release will bring an end to the years of unnecessary and unjust punishment that he's already suffered. Getting a reaction from Charleston White, where he claimed this is what YNW Melly should be living like. He shouldn't receive special treatment just because he's a famous rapper, but comment down below what you think.
The YNW Melly, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing about being mistreated when you done chose to play somebody.
With more reasoning as to why his bond was denied being revealed. The prosecutors believe it should have been denied. They believe they have enough evidence to prove that he committed these crimes, so they don't care how he's treated. You tell me if it sounds like enough, starting with the quote, State Prosecutor Alexandra points to Judge Martin Feen's mention of Melly being seen getting into the vehicle. She adds that YNW Melly is seen getting into the seat where the alleged hitter was sitting in. She also mentions the cellular data that allegedly puts him at the scene, saying, quote, we know Cortland Henry wasn't the hitter, the defendant was, while pointing at YNW Melly, where footage would then be shared of Melly getting into the seat. They would even share more footage of the original trial, this time a YNW Juvy's mother confirming it was Melly who was sitting there.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
They would then combine this with text messages found on YNW Melly's cell phone, where Melly seems to be admitting to doing the crime.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
While also sharing YNW Melly's actions after the crime was committed, this being no more than 6 hours, where Melly was seen dancing in a parking lot with YNW Bortlen like nothing even happened.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! But no, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
But there's one main reason the prosecutors are so confident they will sentence YNW Melly to life in prison, and it's because they have both of YNW Melly's best friends on their side. It reads, as predicted, YNW Bortlen took the plea deal. He also agreed to a proffer, which means he's talking. The sentence is to accessory after the fact, and he'll do 10 years plus 6 on probation, where academics wrote, the judge says on both charges, Bortlen pled no contest. To that, he has to provide a factual basis for him to accept the plea, meaning you have to tell a factual story of how you indeed committed accessory to the crime, confirming that the crime actually happened, which YNW Melly is charged with. This is a gonna plea, except with the proffer, he can't say yes ma'am, he has to sing like Franklin.
I did tweet out saying people are upset. I said this is a gonna plea. This is a gonna plea. This isn't a plea saying you have to tell on him, but this is a plea that you're going to have to provide all the details that they were missing to convict him. And that's why it's a gonna plea. Why do I say he signed a gonna plea? Because YNW Melly, and I watched the case, we covered it. YNW Melly's case is that, number one, you guys have not done a job to prove that this is actually they have proved, but prove that this is a homicide with this person being the offender. Also, the accessory after the fact plea confirms that Bortlen, that's kind of like almost like a sub part of a conspiracy, except you weren't with the conspiracy at first. You came in after the fact. What that proved is that they came in, oh my God, my dog's crying. What that proved is that Bortlen worked with someone after he acknowledged that a took place in trying to cover it up. You hear what I just said? When pleading to an accessory to after the fact, you have to acknowledge that the happened and you assisted someone or in some way to cover the. Now, if Melly's statement is, how do we know that? And then secondly, how do we know who did it? Because they said it was a drive-by.
While many have claimed Bortlen does not have to snitch on YNW Melly, it is true. However, YNW Bortlen is required to tell how the crime went down from his own perspective sitting inside of the car. Regardless if he says Melly's name or not, when he tells the police that Sakchaser and Juvy passed from a situation inside of the car, YNW Melly will then be found guilty because they are claiming it was a drive-by.
He will be flipping. He is going to be tell-all about anything he knows about the double case, and they will know if he's telling the truth or telling a lie when he gives his full quote-unquote confession as to what happened that evening. And that's what happens. A lot of times where guys are in prison for 4 or 5 years awaiting trial and looking at a life sentence, and they're offered 10 years where they'll be home probably in another 3 years that he'll serve, he decides to flip and become a cheese eater. And that's what happens a lot of times on these cases. And I was expecting it to happen a lot sooner than it did. He held out for quite some time. But long story short is it looks like he's going to flip. And it makes the case on YNW Melly, depending on what he says, which I anticipate he'll say that YNW Melly is responsible.
But it gets even worse because the feds also have YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton. In 2023 at the original trial, Mariah was expected to show up day one, but she never showed. Police would quickly go to her home just to find her missing and nowhere even in the United States. Then at the end of 2025, she wanted to come home because she missed her family, so she booked a flight home with her ID, triggering the police's security alarm. Then once waiting for her luggage at the airport, she was quickly swarmed by police and arrested.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
The official court document reads, in the 5-page memo, the prosecutors dropped the witness tampering case against Jamel Demons to avoid jeopardizing key jail call evidence essential to proving of guilt in his M trial. The state moved to drop the case because suppression of jail calls remained unsolved, risking acquittal and loss of critical evidence needed for the 2027 trial. Prosecutors charged YNW Melly with witness tampering and team-related offenses tied to efforts to keep key witness Mariah Hamilton from testifying in his M case. Financial records show Hamilton then received more than $31,000 from Demon's management company, plus assistance when purchasing a Mercedes despite no reported income. Jail calls, surveillance video, and inmate kites show Demons directing a relay system through inmates James Howard and Terrence to pass messages outside of jail. But later in the memo it reads, recorded calls and messages instructed associates, including co-defendant YNW Bortlen, to keep Mariah Hamilton away from the court, use coded language and nicknames, meaning they have all the evidence they need to prove YNW Melly made Mariah Hamilton leave the United States, because after the crime went down, roughly 3 minutes later, YNW Melly FaceTimed Mariah Hamilton. All of this actually was exposed by YNW Juvy's father during an interview when the original trial started, but nobody listened.
There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, trying to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom.
But this wasn't the only weird thing that happened during the original trial either, because YNW Bortlen committed a very serious crime when exiting day one of the original trial.
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortlen was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortlen, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Demons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortlen allegedly tampered with the witness.
It would then be written, here are the images of alleged notes discovered during the home raid of YNW Bortlen's home last week, alongside these photos of Bortlen detailing where certain jurors were sitting with a description of what they looked like, where Bortlen showed up to the original trial for one day to schedule his own. But while exiting the court, he took a mental note of where all the jurors were sitting, what they looked like, and anything unique about them, and drew out all of it on a piece of paper, making it appear as if these jurors found his best friend guilty. Bortlen was gonna go slide for his best friend.
To keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortlen, how the f you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Holy sh! Like, come the f on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
But while on the topic of the original trial, it is also very important to remember there was never a firearm even found. This does support the claim that it was a drive-by, but comment down below what you believe happened.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what